Welcome to the Rent to Rent Success podcast, the only podcast entirely dedicated to helping you achieve rent to rent success. We talk about the ethical way to get you started in property without buying it. This is our place to inspire each other to believe bigger, to be bolder, and to be game changers for good. Property investors and sisters Stephanie and Nikki Taylor are your guides on this exciting ride. Let's start up the engines and get ready to fly. Hello, hello, hello. It's Stephanie here, and welcome to episode 5 of Ask the Angels, where we answer your rent to rent questions. If you have a burning question you'd love to ask us, then go to renttoRentSuccess.com/ask and record your question for us to answer for you. We've had a really good question today here from Emma, and it's about paying rent to landlords or agents. Here's Emma's question. She says, I'm an absolute beginner, no prior experience in property. I'm basically at the beginning of my journey. When you do rent to rent, do you pay the landlord the first month's rent, or do you take that from the revenue at the end of the first month? She says, sorry if it sounds like a silly question. Like I said, I'm at the beginning and I'm learning. And I think this is a great question. So let's go into it. Usually, tenants pay the rent in advance. So, for example, as a tenant, before you move into the property, you pay the first month's rent. However, there is nothing to stop us as businesses paying later in the month after we've collected the rent from tenants. In fact, this is what landlords are used to if they've worked with letting agents before. The letting agents will collect the rent from tenants, and then at some agreed date after that, the agents will pay the rents to the landlords. So, for example, on the 1st of March, you collect your rent for March from your tenants. And then later in the month, or at the end of March, you pay your rent to your landlords. So, for example, you could pay the rent to landlords on the 10th of March, the 20th of March, the last day of March, or whichever date you choose and you agree with your landlord. This is better for your cash flow. So, see, Emma, it was an important question and not a silly question at all. Now, if you're with us in the Rent to Rent Kickstarter Programme, you'll find deep details on exactly how to set up your systems for smooth HMO management in M6.5. So go there to dive into this further. In summary, Emma, you collect your rent from tenants in advance, and you can pay it to landlords in arrears, just as a high street letting agent would. This means you receive money from tenants before you need to pay it for landlords. Now, this only works where it's agreeable between both you and the landlord or letting agent. So it's a case of finding something that works for both parties. If you would like your question answered like Emma did, go to renttoRentSuccess.com/ask, record your question, and we'll record an answer for you for a future episode. Or if you're confused about what all this rent-to-rent malarkey is, then sign up for our free Rent to Rent Success guide and masterclass. And you can get it at renttoRentSuccess.com/guide, and we'll send that right over to you. That's all for now. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If you would like more, we've written the #1 best-selling book on rent to rent. You can find it at renttoRentSuccess.com/book. Reviewers on Amazon have described it as the best rent-to-rent HMO book and also as a definitive reference guide and inspirational. Take your next step today and buy the book. You can find it at rentsuccess.com/book. and I'll see you again next time. Until then, remember, believe bigger, be bolder, be a game changer.